Okay, so I wanted to share some footage from my first shoot with the Panasonic EVA 1. As you probably already know, this is a 5.7K camera, but at the time of this recording, the firmware was only capable of 4K long GOP footage at 422 color space and a bit rate ranging from 50 to 150 megabits per second. Now, future firmware updates will include support for all inter-recording, 400 megabit per second files, as well as access to the full 5.7K RAW recording via an external recorder. Using Vlog, we get a full 14 stops of dynamic range. If you've ever used a log file format, you know it captures better highlights and shadows by compressing the image into the center of the scopes. And then you unpack the image in post to see more dynamic highlights, blacks, and everything in between. If you're coming from a GH4 or GH5, where they have a version of Vlog, Vlog Lite, then you know, but you'll be blown away at how much more image you get here on a camera with 14 stops. This is in no way a glorified GH5. It's more like the little sister of the Panasonic VariCam LT. So after capturing the footage, I found it pretty easy to grade up. For me, I like the colors better than Sony or Canon. Sony sometimes has a bit of a magenta hue, and Canon with their reds. And don't get me wrong, both manufacturers make great cameras, but I think Panasonic's hit the sweet spot for me on this one. I'll just explain what I did here, and then I'll shut up and let you watch through the footage one more time. So on the first node, I just expanded the range of the image and did a basic correction. Then on the next node, I did a curves adjustment and a little bit of contrast. Then I boosted up the saturation and selectively brought down the red tone a little bit because I wanted the image to be a little cooler. Then I applied a LUT, just about 50% opacity on that though. After applying the LUT, I felt I needed to massage the color just a little bit more. Then I did my typical desaturating my blacks and my extreme highlights. I used a couple of power windows just to bring down the exposure on her shirt. And on that last node is just a little negative dehaze. Oh, and you'll notice along the top and bottom, the black bars. That's because the aspect ratio is not 16:9 because I shot it in Cinema 4K, which is 1.9 to 1. So that's 4096 by 2160, and I rendered it out as a UHD file at 3840 by 2160 for YouTube. And while we're talking numbers, if you're interested in what 5.7K is, that's 5720 by 3016 pixels. That's 17.25 million pixels. So now you can sleep at night. And I've got a few clips of ungraded footage for you, so links in the description. This way you can have a chance to play with the footage and see how easy it is to work with. I did transcode it to ProRes because if you're going to put it into DaVinci Resolve, you actually have to have the studio version to take the camera native files, but the dynamic range is the same, and this way you can use the light version if you need to. Feel free to grade it up and post it on your own channel. You can give me a mention if you feel so inclined, but I hope this was informative. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.